Hello, everyone, and welcome down to episode number 79 of the Down South Photo Show with me, Brendan Waits, here in Ocean Grove, Victoria, Australia. And the guy on the other screen or in your other ear, if you are listening along, it's Cam Blake in Hobart, Tasmania. Hello, Cameron.
Have you pressed record, Brendan?
People are listening and watching, so I would imagine that means I've pressed record.
That's a very good point. Episode 79. What a year 79 was. 1979.
Good year, was it?
Oh, great year. Some of the best people ever were born in that year.
That's why you're officially a child of the 70s.
I scraped in a child of the 70s.
Can you remember it well?
I do remember the 70s pretty well. I came out feeling a bit funny and
Understood.
It's 79. That's good. We've got 21 episodes to go. That's
correct.
Good. That is good.
Maths this time.
My math's good.
The countdown is on.
Now, if we did 21 episodes, we usually do one a week, don't we?
Pretty much. That's going to put us right in the middle of
footy season. It's going to be footy season, isn't it?
No, I reckon it might be close to our U-Butte Melly Murray workshop.
Oh, have we got a workshop in the Murray? Where are we going? Murray Melly.
Funny you should bring that up, Cameron.
Is it? Well, it is selling. It is selling.
We actually only have a couple of spots left, so get on board, people.
2 spots left. Do we have to give it a plug as to what it involves, or do you reckon people know? Because if we have to, just crap on for a sec while I bring up the details, because I can't.
No, it's all fine. I think most people would understand. Most landscape photographers, who are in the southern reaches of this great land of ours, would have heard of Lake Tyrrell.
Yeah,
but that is going to be the jewel in the crown of our Melly Murray workshop. So
it will be. I think people are starting to maybe, I won't say they're being lazy, but I think people are not being lazy anymore, and they've actually hang on a sec, this looks like it could be a pretty cool little workshop.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
I think the reason I like it, or am liking the thought of it, yes, it's where I'm from. I'm from the Melly, Melly boy, and I don't mind at all if you call me a Melly boy. And also it's different.
Yeah.
It's not the Great Ocean Road. It's not Tasmania. No. It's not the high country. It's not bright in autumn. It's something a little different. So I'm excited.
So we got to plug it because we've got 2 spots left, October 12th to 16th. It is an all-inclusive workshop. So you get 4 nights accommodation. We'll transfer you it all starts in Swan Hill. So you drive yourself to Swan Hill, park your car, and then we'll take you in a minibus out every day, all the meals. And then we get tuition from Brendan and I for 4 days. We'll teach you all the secrets. There'll be no BS. That this is how you make nice shots. This is how we do it. We're not going to do what some other workshops do where they just tell you 90% of it, but don't tell you the real secret things of it. I'm not mentioning names, Tom Putt workshops. But if you want to learn properly, then that's what it's for. But yeah, we're going to go to Lake Tyrrell. I'm looking forward to that. We're doing a paddle steam cruise along the Murray, which is going to be cool. We are. And we've got bridges, we've got other lakes, art silos, some of those. I just got a message from Tom Putt.
There you go. He's listening.
I won't tell you what he said.
Okay.
Yeah, he heard me. So yeah, for those interested, jump on board, dsps.com.au or my website. You can book through there. It's $3,450 for everything. So it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good value.
For everything.
For everything. You get everything. We'll even buy you a beer.
Yeah, we will. So, you don't have to buy us one anymore. We'll buy you one.
Yeah. How was that for a plug? Was that good?
I was just sitting back in awe and amazement at how well you just plugged that. I wonder if anyone skipped forward to this part now and went, we don't want to know any more about this bloody workshop.
You can press forward and it skips like 15 seconds in a podcast.
Yeah, that's right. But also we've got they're already sold out, but we do have our ballerine workshops coming up. In June, which we're looking forward to very, very much.
Yeah.
Jump on because there is almost no doubt in my mind that those ones will happen again next year in 2024.
Yeah.
And there is little rumors going around that 2024 might involve a couple of other workshops with us as well. But anyway, we'll leave a cliffhanger.
This is just a cheeky, just a terrible plug of our stuff, isn't it?
It is. Thank you to everyone who has liked, subscribed, followed the channel, talked to us through Facebook, talked to us through wherever all our other channels, been to the website, dsps.com.au. Trending for 525 subs on the YouTubes, which is pretty impressive. We're happy with that. Like we say, we like the fact that the channel is growing so organically
Yeah.
And people are coming on board into our little community. So hello to the newbies who have subscribed recently. If you haven't subscribed yet, there's a big fat juicy subscribe button just down there. Go on. You know you want to.
Ring our bell, tickle our bell. You know what's been really good about the subscriptions of late is I've been getting little messages in the inbox for DSPS.com.au or on the Facebook page or even on YouTube, is that people are sort of finding us and they're like, this is a great little show. Well done, fellas. It's really great, blah, 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 blah. But they're like, I've just listened to the back button focus one, or I've just listened to episode 10, or like they're actually going back and listening to them, which is great. So
which I really like as well. I mean, they're there forever. So, well, in theory. So if this is the first time you've listened, scroll down through the channel there and have a look at some of the topics that we've covered, because after 9 on 80 episodes, we have covered a lot of ground on this show.
But we haven't covered what we're talking about tonight.
We haven't, but we'll get to that shortly, because
we don't. Oh, sorry,
we're going to
jump in the car.
No, that's fine. We're just the feedback that we've had on our last 2 episodes has been tremendous. So thank you. Clearly, the Overland track is a crowd favorite. So we've really enjoyed bringing that to you and showing off the photos. Thanks to Cam for sharing a crap ton of my photos through Facebook. I think we put them up on. Yeah,
we did put them on the Down South Photo Show Facebook page.
So thank you for all the comments and likes and stuff coming my way. That was greatly appreciated and a little bit flattering as well. Thank you.
That was on the back of me being aggressively encouraged to actually share some photos on there.
Yeah, that's right.
Had a couple of people saying, well, stop talking about it and put some photos up. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay, right, fine.
You ask, we do.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's been awesome. As I say, the feedback has been brilliant.
Yep.
Where should we go next? Who knows? But there will be somewhere.
Yeah, we probably should maybe try and do an annual trip somewhere, shouldn't we?
Well, maybe. We'll see. Great Ocean Walk, anyone?
I've heard you got to do it in one direction only.
That's right. You have to do it Harry Styles.
Yeah.
Was he one direction?
I don't know. I'm guessing he only goes one direction.
Pop culture's a little bit beyond me. Backgrounds. Let's look at your background, Cam. Go on.
Yep. I'm going to do it with my thumb, I think.
Where you at?
I am at the high country alpine region, just out the back of Dinner Plain. This is on my recent Bright workshop, the autumn workshop, and there's no autumn colours up there. But the snow gums look magical on the mountains, and we had a really foggy day. So as you do, you chase the weather and the light. So we thought, foggy day, let's get up to the top and get some snow gums. There were some really cool twisty bits of oranges in these trees. You can sort of see it in the middle tree and the one off to the left. But there was a gnarly tree that sort of spreads across the frame there that caught my eye with the old man's beard moss. It just looked really cool. So we got a couple of shots of that and a few others. And the grasses, we actually saw emus up there.
Really?
Yeah. I've just got to polish my camera up.
That's pretty cool.
I didn't know there was emus up there. And we were taking photos, and out the back, I'm like, what the bloody hell's that? I'm like, it's an emu. There's 2 emus, like 3 emus. So, yeah, up in the high country, there was a whole heap of emus.
I've got to say, how good's the fog in that photo?
The fog was magic. And there was a shot just to the other side of a walking path that went through all the middle of these trees. It looked really good as well. So, yeah, it's one of those ones where you just got to really follow the weather. Like, I get so many people asking me about workshops. Like, what are we doing on day 2? It's like, well, whatever the weather's doing, we're going to follow it. Because you can't, if you put it down a set itinerary and you say, right, on day 2, we're doing, avenues of colorful trees and it's, foggy and beautiful at the top here, you miss all this. So you got to roll with the punches, so to speak. So, yeah. So it was good.
Absolutely. And I agree. And that's the same with any workshop that you go on. You've just got to be flexible. We can lay out as many itineraries as you like, but if you get up there and it's, pouring rain or whatever, you got to be flexible. You got to roll with it. And that's part and parcel of being a landscape photographer.
100%. Exactly. And if you are booking to do workshops, we're talking about workshops a lot here, but if you are talking about going onto a workshop, I think a bit of advice from our side of things who run the workshops is be a bit flexible with what you're expecting to get each day. Like sometimes, like we had shots in Bright, we didn't actually get a sunrise or a sunset the whole time we're there because it's just cloudy and misty and sort of moody. But what that meant was the middle of the day, where it's usually the worst for shooting, we were able to sort of shoot all the way through the day. So we may not have been up at sunrise because there was no color, but we're still able to get heaps of shooting in. So yeah, be pretty flexible with your expectations when you come on these. Sometimes you might not get a sunrise every day or a sunset, but I can guarantee if the person running the workshop is worth their salt, you'll get great shots of other places at the right time. So,
oh, that's right. I mean, it's not like you're not going to try. It's just sometimes it just doesn't fall that way, and then it's actually
I've heard stories.
It's actually a good learning experience then, because you learn how to pivot and maybe take photos of something else, and you might end up with photos that you didn't dream for a second that you'd be taking.
Yeah,
and they're absolute bangers. So
yeah. And
you also say absolute bangers.
Yeah, you also said pivot, which reminded me of the Friends episode. Pivot. Have you seen that one?
Getting the couch up the thingy.
Yeah, the thing. That's the third time today I've heard that word, pivot.
Is it? There you go.
Anyway, pivot behind you and tell me what that tree's all about.
All right, you got to tell me where that is, Cam.
The overland track.
No. You are familiar with that area.
Is it bright?
Oh, no.
It's Dalesford, isn't it?
Well done.
Yeah,
well, no, it's technically not Dalesford. It's the road to Dalesford.
Is it Glenlyon or whatever it is? Belan, right?
When you come out of Belan and you go over the freeway heading to Dalesford,
yes.
On the left-hand side, there's these two magnificent trees just standing out in these paddocks.
Yeah.
Now, that was taken last autumn, and you may recall that I FaceTimed you from this very I left a voice message, a video message from this very spot, because it was spinning my wheels quite hard. It's a good spot. I don't even know what kind of trees they are. I'm not that way inclined, but
I'm going to say maybe oak trees.
They kind of look oakish, don't they?
I'm
actually making sure I'm not covering up the microphone while I'm talking to you here. But anyway, I'm probably
the dark trunks and maybe oak trees.
So that was on the way up to Dalesford last year, and it was roughly this time of year actually, and I was like, I'm not taking enough photos. I sort of spat the dummy a little bit and just got in the van and went, right, I'm going to Dalesford. Get it off on me. Came back in one day. Came back with probably 30 photos. That
I remember that day. You rang me from that day, and you were in a bit of a lull with your photography.
That's right, I was.
And I remember you saying, "F this, I'm going out to take some photos."
Yep.
And then you rang me from the coffee shack at Lake Jubilee.
Jubilee Lake, that's right.
Jubilee Lake, and you said you've got to come up here, and guess what? I did just a few weeks ago.
That's right.
So I remember that very.
You saw the Canyon of the Elms or whatever it was called. Yeah,
it was pretty cool. That
it's a good one, isn't it?
My customers, the 2 days we were up there, the customers really enjoyed that. It was a nice, pleasant surprise. But Dalesford was lovely, and autumn is now moving on, and we're getting into almost winter. And
I'm probably going to say aperture priority, and I'm probably going to say f11, and I'm probably going to say 1/250 to the second.
Right. Okay.
Just in case anyone was taking notes or wanted to take notes, but that's sort of what it looks like, and then that sounds about right.
Yep. Yeah. Well, it could be, you can make it right.
Well, it sounds pretty close. Every now and then people will say, yes, but what settings did you use? And of course, the smart ass answer is the right ones. Sorry, knob alert. Yeah.
You get a few of them, don't you?
Now,
before, we need to mention that you have a new staff member.
I do?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Hello.
Cameron came.
How good was it?
Paid me a visit. Was that last week?
I can't remember. I don't know what date it is.
And it was awesome. It was great to have him in the shop. And we had little flashbacks to our days at Camera Action.
We did. Yes, we not all good flashbacks, but we had some.
Yeah, we did absolutely no work and just joked around the whole time. So it worked really well. But Cam, you came into contact. You got to meet Ocean Grove royalty.
I did. I can't believe this.
I know. You happened to be there when probably Ocean Grove's most famous resident walked in.
Does this person listen to the podcast or the show, you reckon?
No,
okay.
I don't know, but she may.
Well, I've already forgotten her name.
Her name's Elaine.
Elaine, that's right. And Elaine came in to print some photos, and I was standing there doing some other stuff, and I, not a word of a lie, this lady just came in. I thought, okay, it's just another Ocean Grove customer wanting to do some prints. And when you're talking to someone, it sounds rude, but I was engaging, but I wasn't really sort of engaging. I was doing stuff on my laptop and, just being polite and, trying to represent your store as best I could. And then I heard the phrase, my chickens go surfing.
Yes.
And I went, what the fuck are you talking about? Is this woman nuts? And you're like, you just gave me a look like, nope, this is true. And this lady has chickens. She rescues.
Don't worry, Elaine is quite used to getting some odd looks and raised eyebrows. Don't you worry about that.
She has rescue chooks. That was the first thing that pricked my ear. I'm like, rescue chooks? What the hell are you talking about? And then she said yes, and they go surfing. So I think you might have ducked out to the toilet when she was in the shop, I think. And then I came back and she's like, look me up on 9 MSN and Today's Show.
Yeah.
And all I saw, I looked it up and I saw this video. So if you want to look it up, folks, go home, or we might put a link or something. I don't know. Just look up surfing chickens, Ocean Grove or something like that. But the thing that I found was funny, the way she sold it to me versus the vision of what the chickens do. I'm like, those chickens aren't surfing. You're literally throwing them into the ocean, and they're making their way back into shore. Yes. I don't classify that as surfing. I classify that as surviving. And then she had one on a skateboard, and I couldn't believe it. And without a word of a lie, her face didn't change. It wasn't comical for her. No. It was very serious. Yeah. And when you walk back in, you're like, oh, you've met Elaine, and you knew exactly what I'd already known, what she's already told me. And I thought, gee whiz, that's not what I was expecting to hear in my 1 or 2 hours of working in your shop. Is a lady who throws chickens in the surf and they surf.
Elaine's been a great customer of mine from day one, basically. And she comes in and she takes a lot of photos of her chickens on her phone. And she gets them printed up and she takes them to local businesses and like coffee shops and restaurants, and people absolutely love them. She just hands them out for free.
Yep.
She like being autumn, she'll have a photo of her chickens in the autumn leaves and she'll put some funky little caption on there, and away she goes. And it's her thing and she absolutely loves it. But if you can look up Chicken Lady Ocean Grove on the Today Show, it's very funny. Anyway, we completely digress. Hello, Elaine. Hope you're watching. You're not. But that's fine.
My God, it was the funniest thing I'd heard in a long time.
The icing on the cake was when I took a passport photo of one of her chickens.
You took a passport. That's right. You took a passport photo of a chick.
True.
I'm just like, what? And you know what? The other thing we noticed about, so I'll say not we. The other thing I noticed being in Ocean Grove was the variety of old-fashioned names that came into the shop.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
It was Beryl, it was Jude, it was, whoever it was. You think of any older name.
Deirdre
Rose, we had Rose. Rose was
yes.
She was the young backpacker girl.
With the old person's name.
With the old person's name. So for the 2 hours I was in the shop, it was like an episode of the Golden Girls, walking in and out with all these names. I felt like I'd gone back in time, but it was great to, like I said, it was great to hang out for a couple of hours and have a bit of a laugh. And
as luck would have it, Elaine came into the shop today, and I kid you not, asked me where the new guy was.
Oh, did she?
That's a true story.
I made an impression.
You did,
yeah. It was very funny. It made my day. And then I got on the boat. Had to catch the boat home, and so I put a few sales through. I think
you did. Absolutely.
Did a few things.
As I say, it was like old times, mate.
There you
go. I've said to you 100 times, Hobart Camera and Photo is in your future.
Maybe. Just a few other names. Just a few other examples of the names that you might have mentioned that we saw. Des, Jenny, Joy, Marge, Deidre.
Yeah,
you name it.
You did come in on pension day.
I did come in pension day. It was a very funny couple of hours, and like I said, I caught the boat home, and that was nice and smooth actually. And here we are having a chat about it. So anyway, we're 19 minutes in. We're 20 minutes in where you said we'd be.
I said we would be.
Yeah, you did.
Tonight's main topic is brought to you by Cameron Blake. He wants to table this on the agenda for this evening.
Yeah.
So normally, when I say that, you're about to hear something controversial. So over to you, Cameron.
Don't build me up to be a prick. So this topic's been playing in my brain like a lot of them do. And people at home probably think this guy's a dickhead. All he does is just think of stuff. And a lot of times I do. Like I do a lot of driving, a lot of traveling, and a lot of downtime. And, I listen to podcasts and music and stuff like that. And I always have these little thoughts going through my head about being a photographer versus other artists. So I've said it 1,000 times that if I would trade any skill I have as a photographer to be able to play the piano or play the guitar properly, to be able to be a professional in that field as opposed to this field, because I think, music can bring so much joy and all those kind of things. But I always look at us as artists, which we are, and I always sort of compare us with painters, musicians, whatever else it might be, writers, poetry, whatever it might be. But the one thing I can't get my head around, and this has popped up over the last few weeks when I've seen, and people are going to think I'm being nasty here, but I've seen a lot of photos recently down here in Tassie of a location of the aurora being shot, which is exactly the same location that I took photos of many years ago. And to my knowledge, there hadn't been any photos of the aurora taken from this location before that. There may have been. I'm happy to be corrected. But what I've seen a lot lately is everyone going to this same location, recreating the same sort of shot that I took, which is flattering and it's really lovely to see. But it got me thinking that, for example, and I've said this offline to you as well, that, if I go rewrite the Gone with the Wind novel and put author Cam Blake and try and sell it, I'd get my ass handed to me. If I try and redo Hey Jude by the Beatles and say it's my song, I'd get in trouble. If I went and painted the Mona Lisa and called it, Mona Lisa 2 and put my name to it, I get in trouble. But there's nothing really to protect photographers from people literally going out and taking the exact same photograph of the exact same topic. There doesn't seem to be any parameters around whether or not we have protection of that. And it's not just my photos. I've seen like so many famous photos you see people go and recreate and then sell. Like there's people selling similar photos across the board. So I wanted to talk about, can photos be plagiarized or can they be ripped off? Another example that comes to mind is Peter Lick with that really famous shot of the ghost. I think it's called Ghost Light in the Canyon. Yeah. Like people have gone and taken very similar shots to that. And, he sold that photo for hundreds of thousands of dollars. And then people have gone and recreate, allegedly, that's right. It's probably all bullshit. Don't worry, Peter, we've got no lawyers, so you can sue us. So he's probably had people go and take the exact same shot. I had this little conversation with another photographer up in Bright, Mika Boynton, when we were in her gallery the other day. And in tongue in cheek, one of my customers said, "Oh, we're going to go get shots of these snow gums, cams like Mika's." And I said, "Yeah, we're going to go get the exact same shot. We're going to set up the exact same situation." And Mika was standing there. And I said to her, "Now, how would you feel if we did that, if we recreated your shot to the nth degree?"
To the pixel.
And pixel. But her response was, "Well, it's nature. You can't copyright nature. So, nothing will ever be the same twice." But I'm like, well, it could be. Mm-hmm. I've got a photo of a shot that Peter Dombrowskis did up in the walls of Jerusalem of an old pencil pine, this gnarly pencil pine. And I went there to recreate that because I love the photo and I thought I'd love to go and recreate that. And I got really lucky. I got the exact same conditions, the exact same lighting, and I set up the frame almost identical to his composition. And I even shot it on the same film profile that he shot his on film. And to me, that was a complete ripoff of his shot. And it's a beautiful shot. And I love the shot, but I know it's not my idea or my composition. And one more other example about this before we get into talking about it. Going back to Peter Dombrowskis, about 4 years ago, it was the 25th anniversary of his passing. And down here in Tassie, I approached a few local photographers and said, maybe we should try and do something together as a group, like some sort of tribute or, put something together. Maybe we can go out and put our take on some of his photos and, recreate some of these classic shots he's done, like doing a cover, go do a cover of Hey Jude and, as a tribute. And a few of them pushed back and said, "Oh, that's probably, you can't really do that. You can't go take people's photos and stuff like that." And we actually reached out to his wife down here in Hobart to ask permission. And her response was, what sort of got this growing in my brain a few years ago was, they're Peter Dombrowskis' compositions. You can't recreate them. They're his compositions. I don't give you permission to recreate them. And out of respect, obviously, we didn't do anything. The idea didn't go any further. But that always stuck in my head as like, well, can someone copyright a composition or can they own a composition? So that's the conversation. I don't know how controversial it is, but I don't know if anyone's actually thought of this before. But if you take a few minutes after listening to this podcast and think about it, that all these other arts that people do, people can go and recreate things, but they can't claim it as their own. They've got to say it's credited to or written by or whatever. But in photography, you can go and do the exact same shot behind you on the exact same sort of weather, exactly the same composition, and say it's a photo by Cam Blake and sell it. And you just have to wear it as if to say, well, my creative influence there and my intellectual property means nothing.
It's
Can you
quite
solve
the
this for
topic.
us? It is a deep topic.
No, I can't. But I've got a feeling we're going to scratch the surface in this episode, though, because there's a lot to unpack here. A hell of a lot to unpack.
Yeah, it might be a double episode.
Well, the Beatles like to do double the White
double.
Album. This could be our White Album here, Cam. There's a lot there. I think when you say, that you can't rip off someone else's image, I would argue that there has actually been legal cases where it has been brought before a jury or before a court at least. I'm going to have to look that up, and I can't be 100% sure. But I think when you say like carte blanche that you just can't do it, I think it's happened in the past. As I say, without doing any research on it, particularly when it comes to that big bad issue we have of actually making money from our photos. How dare we? I think then the waters get muddied. With photography, though, I think Mika made a very, very valid point, and that is it is nigh on impossible to reproduce the photo. Now, and again, copyright law is not my strong suit, but from my understanding, if the image is different by a factor of roughly 10%, that's where you can go ahead, do what you want. And I would argue that, so let's use your background as an example. I'm going up to Dinner Plain, was it? Yep. I'm going up to Dinner Plain tomorrow. Hopefully the conditions are like that. Do you really think that I'm going to be able to reproduce that photo exactly? But stand exactly where you stood.
I do. I do because
no, within 90%.
Oh, more. I with easily because I've done it myself. That photo I was talking about of the pencil pine up at Walls of Jerusalem. You put that next to the Peter Dombrovskis photo, and it's well within 90% plus of what that looks like.
Yeah, so that would be a matter for a court to decide, I would imagine. But I think there may be more protection there than you think. It might be just that most photographers are broke ass, struggling artists who can't do it. They can't really afford to do anything about it. I'm struggling to think of an actual occurrence where it has happened, but
because
it has.
Because of the magic of Google, while you've been talking now, I've actually found an example of it. How good is that? Hey, we haven't even paused this. This is live. So Annie Leibovitz, or whatever her name is, the famous
Annie Leibovitz,
she was actually sued for $300,000 over copyright back in 2009 because she recreated photos that she'd recreated of another Italian photographer. So she'd gone and taken the photos again and then claimed and passed them off as her own photos or her own creation when they were absolute rip-offs of this other person. So whether or not I can't read through it all now, but she was sued, so she was taken to court. So someone has taken someone of some standing in the community.
This answers part A of the question, that there's nothing we can do about it. There is something you can do about it. You can damn well take people to court by the looks of that. That is in the very litigious country of the US of A, of course, but
that's right.
Not to say that can't be done here. I mean, I'm assuming absolutely it can be. But I think the instances of so there's plagiarism, sure. There's also accidental plagiarism, right? Where and there's influence. You're influenced by Dombrovskis. So I'm influenced by you. I'm influenced by other photographers in Ocean Grove. Pete James, who's here, and I think occasionally listens to the show. G'day, Pete. Awesome local photographer. He puts photos up sometimes, and I'm like, man, that's a cool angle, and I find that might influence me next time I'm in that location. I'm not going to go there and go, I'm going to take that Pete James photo. But it does definitely influence, let's have a look at that angle and see if it works under those lighting conditions that I'm in then and there. This is an absolute rabbit hole. We could really go deep, do a deep dive on this bad boy.
Well, that's the thing. So I get, and again, like when I was saying before, like people have gone and taken, and it's happened over the last couple of years, which I find surprising, but also flattering, that I've seen a lot of what I would say my compositions around Tasmania have really started to pop up. There's lots of people. There's a shot out at Lake Pedder, which I've got a shot where it's like this storm coming over the thing. It's all lit up. This rain showers lit up orange, and the lake's all perfectly blue. And the only way you would get that photograph is if you had seen it before, because it's not a very it's not something that you would pick out of this massive landscape. So it's actually taken with like a 300 or 400 mil lens. It's quite a long way in.
I'm gonna pull you up on one thing.
Yeah,
you hadn't seen it before.
I hadn't seen it before. No,
but you got the photo.
But I got the photo. Yep.
Yeah. So to say that you would have had to have seen it before to get the photo isn't right, because you hadn't seen it before.
Well, no, I mean, you would have to have seen my photo to see where to get it from.
Yep.
If you know what I mean.
No, but you see what I'm saying as well, though.
Oh, like yeah.
You hadn't actually seen it before either.
No.
You got the shot. So my argument would be, if you're a good photographer, which Cam you are, and you go to any given location, the good photographers will pick the compositions. Now, the fact that there's millions of us now, because anyone with a camera thinks they're a pro photographer, they're going to go to a location and they are going to, within, probably the majority will take the same photo, I would have thought, or something incredibly similar.
Well, this is what I mean, though. Like, for example, this one I'm talking about at Lake Pedder.
Yeah,
I would say that unless you had seen the photo I'd taken and how I'd taken it, you wouldn't see that shot.
No, okay. So this is where technique can be different as well. So, for example, they might have inadvertently or on purpose copied your text. So they might have looked and gone, okay, I can see on that photo that Cam used a 3-second exposure with an ND filter. He used this angle of his camera, blah blah blah, and can completely mimic that. However, I would argue that the good photographers would see the shot as well, regardless of whether they've seen your shot before or not. And how the hell would you argue that in a court of law?
Well, that's the other thing. If it does get to that point where it is a complete carbon copy of what you've done, how do you go to court and say, well, that's my photo, and the court would say, well, what makes it your photo? It's a shot of nature. Yes, but my composition is exactly like that. It's a real tricky one, how you would defend that. But like I said before, when we spoke to Peter Dombrowski's wife, like, it was a flat out no. These are his compositions.
I that grinds my gears a little bit.
It does.
I mean, for two reasons. One, your intentions were pure. You were going there to actually honor his memory. And two, man, I don't know. I don't think you can own a composition. I really don't.
Well, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? Can you own a composition in photography? And if so,
go to the 12 Apostles, Cam, and you've got that platform.
Right. Yeah.
You've got that platform that's 60 meters long, if that, 40 meters long. They are your options to shoot the 12 Apostles.
I know. Yeah.
Of course, there's 40 trillion photos that look exactly the same. I mean, I've got photos of the 12 Apostles that I sell. I'm not going to go and sue Steve Parrish or Ken Duncan. Like,
no,
those things are there. Like, it's. I
mean,
but
you could argue then, like, getting back to my other point of the argument about, you see a painting, the Mona Lisa, and you go and recreate that to the exact same example. You can't get away with that. That's
right. No, I agree. It does seem a little hypocritical that there's one field of the arts that and the big one at the moment is the Ed Sheeran case against Marvin Gaye.
Exactly, which got thrown out. Like, he technically,
and I think rightly so, because it may have been inspired or influenced by, but it was nowhere. The two songs were.
I've never heard it. I've never listened to Ed Sheeran. But there was another example.
If you listen to the two tracks, you can see hear the inspiration, but it's just outrageous that they've bought a.
But there has been lawsuits where songs they've lost lawsuits because the song has been too close or a direct ripoff of that.
I mean,
the other one was a classic one, was Obla Dee, Obla Da by Beatles, and it was The Offspring. Something there was notes and something like that in there. But the fact is that it got attention, that someone went, hang on a sec, that sounds a lot like that song, but that person's done, you can't do that. Where we go, hey, that's a photo of Lake Pedder that Cam took, and that's a photo of Lake Pedder that who else took, and it looks exactly the same. Nothing to see here. Move on. That's what I mean. Like, as an art, as a genre of art, we don't seem to get any recognition for our skill of seeing and creating something if it gets copied.
I think the variable is what Mika said, and that it is nature, and it's there, and you can't, and that's the variable. So yes, you're completely right. So the person that painted the Mona Lisa painted that from their brain. The next person didn't think it up. It was already there right in front of them. So they copied it absolutely the same. And it's a forgery, if you like. I think that might be a better term for this, actually.
Forgery.
It's a forgery. It's a rip-off of it.
So I'll put this to you then. Out of photography's been around for what, 150 years or something like that, 120 years, whatever it is.
Yep.
So, for example, if we use the example of the tree that I was talking about with Peter Dombrovskis, this pencil pine, that pencil pine tree's been there for all time.
Yep.
There's only ever been one photo of that taken by Peter.
Yep.
And now other people then take it afterwards. And
that we know of.
That we know of. No, that's only one photo was ever taken of that before anyone else took it. So to me, in defense of maybe what his wife was saying with compositions being protected, it would be quite easy to argue that, you know what, he's the only person that ever shot that tree. So regardless if nature changes, weather changes, whatever, that composition that he created, that artwork that he created of this beautiful pencil pine should be his. He's made that effort to find the composition. He's created the art. He's used his skill to create that art, and the end result is a piece of art.
Yep.
And to me, like, should that be then, okay, well, that's his art.
And I think I agree with you. I think we're in heated agreement for the most part, but probably lost my train of thought there. But I think when it comes to Peter going out there and taking that photo, I think it's just too difficult to. I mean, what do you do? You can't. What do you put a plaque there and say you can't take this? I mean, come on, anyone can go and take that photo. You know, anyone who goes to the trouble of hiking to the walls of Jerusalem to go to that spot. And hand on heart, I've never seen the photo that you're talking about. So I may have unknowingly.
I'll tell you what, if you're good enough, we'll put it up on the screen and we'll put the two examples up.
Yeah, no, that'd be a good study. So there it is. See, if I do this now, it shows me in the edit that I'm supposed to put something there.
Two things. And you're right. Like it's a real tricky one. And I think you're right with what Mika was saying. I don't think I agree 100% with what she was saying, but I think I certainly agree with 80% of what she's saying. I
know what I was going to say. Sorry, I just want to interrupt. It's the medium. It's the medium. If so, photography, you can go out, like painting something is really difficult. Photographers, generally speaking, have pissed and moaned a little bit over the years about not being recognized as artists.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and people, it's sort of, you're a photographer. Well, it's not really art, is it? It's not really art. We can't have it both ways where we go, no, we want it to be art, but we don't want it to be plagiarized. You know what I mean? Like,
but doesn't that then, if you're a musician or a painter or a writer and you say, yeah, I'm an artist, I write, I paint, I sing, I do whatever, and then someone comes out and rips off your work, 100% you're going to say, hang on a sec, that's my work. You can't do that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's how photographers should have a mindset about this as well. Is that you know what, that's my photograph that I created is magic out of my art. I'd prefer you not go and do the exact same thing and sell it for yourself.
Yeah, and you make a very valid point. It's hard to argue against it.
But I think you're right that the hard bit is that it's the medium, and photographers have always been the poor man's artist. We're always the one that is at the bottom of the pile when it comes to things, because we just take photos and everyone does it, and it's not that important. But as a photographer who's passionate, and everyone who is a photographer as well, we should have some pride or some sort of self-worth in the art that we're creating. Like that shot behind you is lovely. You got the golden trees and the beautiful sky and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you put that in your shop on a big canvas or you sell it for a couple of $1,000s framed up, that's your artwork. If I go out and with my skills as a photographer, I know I can go create that as good as you and put it in a frame and sell it.
Yep.
But to me, that would be the greatest kick in the balls to you, that I've just gone, well, that's a great bit of art. I'll go recreate it and then I can make money off it.
Yeah, when it's blatant like that, when someone's seen it and just gone out to, Man, I don't reckon there's many. I don't think there's a lot of people that would do that maliciously.
No.
As I say, I think it's accidental plagiarism, which isn't plagiarism at all.
Yeah, yeah,
It's coincidence. And I think again that's where, because photography is, because of the medium that it is, I think in a court of law that's how it would be seen, as pure coincidence, and it would be thrown out of court. It'd be like, well done, you both took a great photo, move on, and
well, but it would come down to the argument you put in front of the court.
Yeah.
Like if you took me to court for doing exactly what I just said you did,
yeah,
and I went in there and said, oh, it was just a fluke, I just drove past and saw these great trees.
yeah,
But then you could prove somehow that, well, actually, no, he's done this with other work of mine. He goes and copies every other photo I've done and goes to every single location and creates the exact same work. This person is copying my work and passing it off as their own. I think you'd have a strong case for the court to say, well, you know what? Yeah, that is artwork, and that's your intellectual property, your art property. And this person is plagiarizing that by doing the exact same thing, passing it off as their own and making money off it. Which is different to, like, for example, the example I was talking about at the start with the aurora is the tessellated pavement. Like every time there's an aurora now, there is hordes of people down there taking photos of the aurora with the tessellated pavement and reflection. And that's great. And from what I understand, the photo I took of that 8 or 9 years ago was the first one that was taken down there. And it's really flattering to see that get done.
Yeah.
But if everyone was going down there taking that exact same photo and making thousands of dollars off selling it, I'd be a little bit pissed off. Because it was a pretty original idea that was executed and created, and now all of a sudden people are using that creativity to make their own money. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand that. The first question I'd ask myself is, why aren't I making thousands of dollars off it? I mean, I'd look at that as a failure on my behalf. If I saw someone with my kangaroo photo, for example, and they made the front page of the paper, and they had a check for $1 million and they'd sold it, the most expensive photo ever sold, I'd look at myself and go, what have I done wrong here? How come I didn't do that? And at the end of the day, I think what it comes down to as well is the professionalism of it. So we're looking to make money out of it, right? So at the end of the day, I don't know. Even when it comes to artwork, like if someone reproduces, I mean, go to Paris and go to the markets, look at the street vendors. They're all selling bloody rip-offs of Monets and pick another French artist that I can't think of off the top of my head, but and they're doing and probably doing a roaring trade as well, but they're complete and utter copies and rip-offs of them.
Yeah. See, I would look at the example you just gave about, well, if they're making money off it, what am I doing wrong? I would turn that around the other way and say, well, I could be making the potential money they're making, but I can't, because they're now, the market's getting flooded with these rip-offs of my work.
Yeah, you could look at it that way.
I know. Anyway, it's something that's always, I've been thinking about this topic off and on for years, since that conversation about Peter's work.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be a good one to bring up, only because, like I said, and again, hand on heart, it's lovely to see photos around Tassie that look very similar to mine, and people have reached out and said, hey, I love that shot you did. I went and did the same thing. It was fantastic. Yeah. And that's really lovely. But if it was a bit more of a competitive market where people were making lots of money and taking sales away from me selling those pictures and stuff, then that's where this conversation might be a bit more relevant. That's not happening because, we don't make much money.
Gee, we're almost at the point where we have to talk about NFTs. Remember those things? Didn't they take off?
Are they still around?
What an absolute waste of time that was. And didn't we know it?
Well, it's a little bit like AI. AI's gone a bit quiet lately, but
wow. Have you heard about Firefly?
Firefly, no.
Our friends at Adobe.
Oh, they're doing.
They are about to. Well, it's in beta testing at the moment, and I have actually put my name in to be one of the beta testers on it. I'm fascinated by it. Yeah, it's called Adobe Firefly, and it's designed to help more for what is it, graphic designers.
It's a new family of creative generated AI models coming to the Adobe products, focusing initially on image and text effect generation.
Yeah, it's fascinating. The space ain't going away. And I don't want to go back to AI again, but It's not going anywhere. It's getting more and more momentum, but it'll be interesting to see if it goes the way of the NFT, because I don't think it's going to.
Here's one for you.
Yep.
So someone gets on Adobe, someone goes into your store and sees the Jesus kangaroo jumping across the water.
Yes.
And they take a photo of it and go, that looks great.
Yes.
And they go in AI and say,
yes,
create image of this field, blah, 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 kangaroo dropping off, blah, blah, blah. And then they sell it as a stock image online and it's there for anyone to buy for nothing.
Yep.
Would you be okay with that?
No, of course not. Of course I wouldn't be. But
so AI versus a human, I don't see the difference.
We're in trouble. I do think we're in trouble. No question about that. It's going to be interesting the way that people grasp it and run with it.
Yeah.
But it's funny you should say that, because I've been on ChatGPT. I've been on what are they? Oh, they've got there's about 500 of them now that are AI image generators. What do you reckon the first thing I type into an image generator is?
Kangaroo jumping on water. Kangaroo
on water. And just to see, and I can tell you, mate, we are decades away from because of the crap that it comes up with ain't even close. But and what I'm actually looking for though is for them sampling my image.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
because it's such a unique image, it is one that I'll know pretty much straight away where that's come from. So that's where the can of worms really opens up.
Yeah.
Particularly if it's used in a marketing campaign.
Yeah. What about here's another thing, right? So Qantas put out a marketing campaign and they get a photographer to go out and take the exact same photograph that you do. They set it up. It's a complete setup, but it looks identical to your shot. And then they pay this person a couple of million for the photo and they use it across billboards around the world.
Yep.
Are you going to sit there and go, well, it's nature, I can't really do much about it because, that kangaroo could have gone the other way?
I'm going to sit there and go, why the hell didn't I take it to Qantas?
Yeah, but they didn't want your one. They wanted to do it to this guy.
That's right. They wanted to pay someone millions of dollars instead of giving me $100,000.
Yeah, but that's what I mean, though. Like,
oh no, I'm hearing you. Look, no, you make a valid point in terms of. By the way, I'd definitely have a case in that case. That would be different, particularly that one photo.
You're not
because it's so unique. It's because it's so unique, and the other that's the thing. I think that's one of the main points is, all the different landscapes and things that people are taking photos of. They change all the time. I mean, okay, I'll pluck another one out. The Point Lonsdale Lighthouse. I mean, for God's sake, there's one particular spot that everyone who shoots on the Bellarine knows, where you can get the best photo of the Point Lonsdale Lighthouse. But if you do a Google search for Point Lonsdale Lighthouse and bring up the images page, you'll battle to find two that are within 90% of each other.
Well, that's what I mean. Those ones, I agree with that. They're the ones that can't really be, they're going to be different. Yeah. But it's the ones where people go out with the intention to create the same shot.
Yeah.
That's where. But
then again, the burden of proof is you proving that they had those intentions. And that,
if the shot's identical, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah. It would have to be an exact copy. And I'm talking clouds in the same spot, which isn't going to happen. Water ripples in the same spot, which isn't going to happen. And in fact, if you have a close look, and I haven't even seen the photos that you're talking about, the one that you replicated Dombrovskis's image, I think you'll find that there's a lot more differences in it. The composition is probably the thing that ties them together. But the rest, I mean, how many years apart? And
I get that. Totally.
So it's a tough one. I think we will come back to this because I reckon people are going to kick off in the comments about this. If you would like to leave a comment, please, by all means.
And if you want to knock my ego down, feel free, because I know it's coming.
One thing I like about the Down South Photo Show is you and I don't always have to agree.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
No, that's right.
And that shone through in our workshop last was it this year? Like whenever in summer, the Bellarine ones we were doing. There was a couple of times when we were there taking photos. You had one way of doing it. I had a different way, and I think that was awesome.
And you were wrong. That's fine.
Both ways were amazing.
Yeah.
But they were just different ways of doing it. You know?
Yeah, that's right. There's plenty of ways to skin a cat when it comes to photography. That's
yeah,
for
that's
sure.
right. But when it comes to this particular topic, it's interesting. I think I'm not quite as on board as you are about, but I understand your point of. I think it's really difficult though to compare two different industries. That's where it's hard. I mean, you know, you can't. They have their own idiosyncrasies, so it's really hard to compare the two and say, well, they do this, so we should do that. You know, the old whataboutism. I'm not a huge fan of that. And I think there's enough compositions in landscape photography in this world where we can all just get along and all go out and make nice photos.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I'm probably putting a bit of mustard on top of this to make it a bit more of a topic, but
mustard,
mustard, mayo, mustard. But I see it as, again, I see it as a potential problem down the track, or, you know, and if anything, if people walk away from this and go, well, you know what, Cam's got a bit of a point. Maybe I won't go to that trees behind Brendan and take the same shot. I'll go to the same location, but I'll create something of my own. I'll be a bit more original and stuff like that.
It's pretty obvious. You've actually got to go further along and shoot down that fence line.
Yeah.
See, I mean, Brendan,
pretty straightforward. But you know, if it gets people thinking a bit more about how they take a photo, and I always say to people in workshops, get the postcard shot, get that classic shot that everyone gets, fair enough, but then go get your own take on the location or the topic or something like that. And I think it's good practice to try and not get influenced too much by others. Definitely look at others and take that as inspiration, but don't just go carbon copy the same shot and then move on, because you're not going to grow as a photographer doing that.
Yeah. And with not wanting to back over it too much, but I think off the top, when you were saying about how you can't, there's no way of being sued or something like that. You know, and I think we've established you probably can be, but one thing, who was that? There was that photographer a couple of years ago that won a few awards, and then it was found that she'd literally stolen elements out of other people's photos.
Can we say her name?
I don't know. It's sort of like Beetlejuice. If you say it 3 times, you'll turn up or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, I
know the name, but I won't say.
It was flagged, and and she was taken down, which was, you know, kudos to the people that were running the competitions at the time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that person is still working in the industry, and from all reports has recovered from the controversy. But they won lots and lots of money and lots of prizes with their work, and they were completely ripping off work using. It was all illustrative work and using elements and you're meant to have taken all the photos yourself, and they were using clip art. It actually made a lot of the competitions, a bit like the AI competitions, made them look like a bunch of dickheads, that they didn't realize that the black cat that was in all the photos was the clip art black cat.
Well, while I was in Tasmania, we had another AI image winner portrait competition.
We did.
Yes. We didn't even talk about that, but anyway, we won't. Let's not go down that bloody rabbit hole.
We've run out. I think we're running out of time for Dear Cam.
Do we want to do a Dear Cam or not?
Well, I reckon.
Can we hold it over?
We haven't done it for a while. We can hold it over if you want. We had a bit of gear talk. That's pretty simple. Nikon Z8's coming out. No one gives a shit. And there's a DJI Mavic Pro 3.
Haven't even seen it, but who cares?
And there's a DJI Mavic Pro 3 coming out that no one gives a shizzle about either.
It's funny, just quickly on gear talk. I love it. There should be a phrase for it when a company brings out a new, in inverted commas, new product, and the new features on it are not worth a damn. Like they just, I think the photography industry is guilty of that. You know, bringing out. Oh, I tell you, this was something fascinating today that I found out. Are you all on the edge of your seats? I mean, it's not that fascinating. Panasonic have released a new camera.
No, they have not.
It's oh gosh, you'd think I'd remember all the numbers. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But it's actually a new version of a camera they've already got available, right?
Right. Yeah.
And it looks fantastic. I was watching iPhonedo's review of it today. I love that guy. He does the best reviews.
Yeah.
Anyway, he said that if you own the old version of this camera, there will be a firmware update coming that will bring it up close to the new one.
Right.
But guess what Panasonic are doing?
They're
charging for the firmware update.
Oh.
Now, is this a new thing? Is this a new thing?
Well, this is a thing as well. Like, that's happened with the Olympus cameras a couple of times with those neutral densities and
Yes.
stuff like that. They've done firmware upgrade that takes an old model almost to the same level as the new model.
That's right.
And that's been free. So I don't have a problem with that. I think if they're going to release a new camera with new features and people don't want to buy the new camera, but they're happy to do the firmware upgrade, I don't think it's an issue to charge something for that. Maybe not.
How much would you charge? Because I know how much Panasonic are charging. So let's see.
$99.
Yeah, it's 199 US.
Right. Okay.
Update. So
yeah.
it's it's interesting, isn't it? It piqued my interest because I've been doing firmware updates for years for customers. People come in with their camera, and it freaks them out to do a firmware update because they don't want to brick their camera. So
you've just reminded me of a customer, Lani. If you're watching, hi Lani from Bright. We were meant to do a firmware update of her OM5 on the wet day that we sat inside doing editing, and we didn't. Sorry about that. I'll do it next time.
Good to see you reaching out to your customers live on the Down South Photo Show.
Yeah. I'm too scared to do it.
Let's do this DCam, Con. We can do this.
Okay, go for it. I haven't read it. I don't know what it's about. Go.
Okay, so who's it from?
It's from David in up in the where is he? The Grampians.
Ararat.
That's him.
That's David from Ararat. David's an awesome man. He's been on one of our workshops already, and I believe coming on another.
He's coming on. Which one are we doing in October? The Murray Melly
there's one we're doing somewhere in the
two spots left. Yeah,
like
be there or be squared. You don't want to miss out on that. Like the first workshops are usually they're usually a little bit disorganized, but they're usually the best ones.
Yes,
and you want to be on that trip to say, hey, I was on that first one. Where when the car broke down 6 times and we didn't get any photos. Right. I was on that one.
We didn't get any food. We didn't get any.
They didn't feed us. We slept in the back of a car.
All they had was beer.
Yeah.
None of that's going to happen, folks. We're a serious operation. Dear Cam, and in brackets and Brendan. So that's why David gets his read out, because it's got the and Brendan bit. So thank you, David. Fresh from your overland jaunt. It was quite jaunty, wasn't it? I keep hearing reports of snow down there. Yeah, well, that was true. This might be a good one to consider for people on multi-day workshops or expeditions.
Right, yeah.
How do you catalog or integrate your photos from a trip like the Overland or the Franklin or wherever you've been, where you may have taken images on up to 3 cameras? So a DSLR, a point and shoot, and a phone. Well, I took them on 2, so I had the DSLR.
Fair call. Yep.
Do you keep them in separate folders arranged by device or in date folders in Lightroom and let the metadata do the work of separating out the cameras, assuming, of course, they all have the same time set? Or leave the phone shots on the phone and not mix the shots, or another method? Cheers. So basically, David is asking how we would go about cataloging, I guess.
Simple answer for me is I don't think I've ever taken any photos off my phone and put them on a computer. I just keep them on my phone. If I do anything on my phone, I just edit on my phone and share them from my phone. If I was to put them all in Lightroom, for example, I would generally put them all in and let the metadata sort them from date taken. So if you did want to go through and edit the shots in order of when they were taken along the trip, then they'd all be in chronological order from start to finish. But it's a good question. Like, yeah, definitely on a camera I take, and some video and photos on a phone is what I take. But very rarely do I do anything with the ones on my phone. I generally just leave them there, edit them on the phone. They all get done through that phone. Yep. So, but if that was me, I'd be putting them there in chronological order, so you could go through. And I did it actually on the Bright trip. I had my Olympus and my Leica, so different cameras, but I saved them all in Lightroom, but I sort by date taken. So, I might have swapped halfway through the day from one camera to another, and you don't lose your sync going through there. That's how I do it.
No, and that's pretty much exactly how I do it as well. So the times where I do get the photos off the phone is normally when I've shot panorama, mainly because the panos have a lot more information in them, so it's good. If you shoot a panorama on an iPhone Pro, I think the panoramas I shot on the Overland were coming out at like 17 megabyte files, so they're quite good. Right. They're usable. Okay. If I wanted to use them, I could. So I do that. I normally just create so I open all my photos in one folder. So I put them all into one folder, and then within that folder, I create a folder called Keepers. And they're the ones that I want to edit, or the ones that I think are worthy, and they end up in there, and away I go. And yeah, you can just use as David said, the metadata. Is metadata and EXIF data the same thing? Probably.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah. So
for the sake of this, they are.
Yeah. Okay. So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, when you have a digital camera or any digital device, it has a date and time set. So when you get a digital camera and take it out of the box, you have to set the date and time. I'm assuming you still have to do that with brand newies. The OM5, I definitely did.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
And that's so that it can put your files in chronological order. So pretty straightforward, that one. That's how I would do it. And the only downside to that is, if you've stuffed up and the date isn't set correctly, the date and time isn't set correctly, which can happen, which can easily be reset with a firmware update.
I'll tell you a really quick horror story that I had once when I was shooting weddings. I had two cameras, both Olympus cameras, one lens longer than the other one, whatever its setup was to be. And I hadn't had the date set on one of them, and the other one was there. And I took like 3,000 shots for the day. So I put them all in Lightroom, sort by date taken, and it was like just an absolute mess all over the shop. And I'm like, my God. So I had to go through and manually sort through about 3,000 shots to put them in order. That was a shit few moments of my life.
That would have been like picking fly shit out of pepper with boxing gloves on.
That's a different one. All right. On that note, thanks, David, for the question.
If you have a deer cam question, by all means, fire it into us. Leave it in the comments below. We've got a deer cam section on our website. Maybe we should have something like that. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll just go and do that now, shall I?
Well, you are the guru. You are the website guru. I like it. It's good. We're a good team. We do things well.
Yeah. Okay.
Cameron, what have you got coming up?
I'm off to Flinders Island.
Well, you can get stuffed. I'm very jealous. Very jealous.
Flinders Island on Friday, and then I come back, and then a few days off, then off to the Tarkai, and then I've got a bit of a break before I head off to Flinders Ranges. So
I'm sure that you are already across this. The weather is supposed to be spectacular in the next few days around Flinders Island.
It should be nice.
Yes, it should be. One thing I do want to say is Happy Mother's Day to everyone. It is Mother's Day in Australia on Sunday. This comes out on Friday night. So
thank you for reminding me that I won't be here for Mother's Day. Thank you. That's right. At least
you will organise these things. So yes, Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Which reminds me, basically for the next 3 days, I am printing Mother's Day photos, which I have been all week already. So it's actually pretty cool. I'm getting a lot of professional photographers stuff in. Like they've done like family sittings and stuff on the beach and that sort of stuff. And we've got some really good photographers on the Bellarine Peninsula. Really, really good.
Has there been any family shots of chickens?
Yes. Today, Elaine came in. She printed some chicken photos. It's true.
I know. I've got a bit of an urge now to go get KFC.
She wouldn't have listened this far. She would have listened to the other bit, but she wouldn't listen this far. Sorry about it. It's fine.
Cool.
All right. So I think that's about it.
That's it.
One last plug for dsps.com.au. Go visit it, check it out. Beer donations this week. Cam, how did we go?
Well, we had a lack of beer donations.
Okay, we're going to go thirsty this week.
Some would say we've been a little bit malnourished.
Yes, very good. Very
like
good.
That one? Yes,
we'll just leave that there.
Very malnourished this week. No beer donations.
Who we're talking about there.
But if you would like to donate to give us a beer, that's why we're drinking water, because we've run out of beer.
Absolutely.
Feel free, dsps.com.au, go on there, leave a donation. Like I said, you can send in your cam questions. You can do that on the website already, Brendan. That is to a message to us.
True.
Have you even looked at the website?
What website?
And don't forget to go check out our Murray Melly. We've got 2 spots left. And I reckon the way it's been going lately, they could go soon. So if you have been considering it, I would make the jump now and get in touch with us before they all go.
Bookended this with a big plug for our workshops. I like it.
We're plugging the shit out of it.
We are. That's it. That's the podcast. Thanks for listening. This has been episode 79 of the Down South Photo Show. We will see you for episode 80 next week. Are you going to be able? You're back.
We can. Yeah, I'll be back. We can do it. Yeah,
we'll make it work. We'll see you for episode 80.
One last little shout out to you. Yes. Well done tonight. Pressing record made a big difference.
No problem. I'm about to end it as well. We will see you for episode 80 next week. Bye for now.
Ciao.
No, ciao. It's the worst one. It's the worst.
Get stuff then.